And now, for the latest news on the markets, here's Jayne Edwards.
Well, Alan, Wall Street gave us a bit of everything on Friday. The Dow slipped by 0.5% thanks to some tepid blue chip results, while the Nasdaq powered ahead by nearly 1%. The broader market S&P 500 stayed neutral, creeping up by just 1 point. It came at the end of a trading week dominated by the Eurozone deal on Greek debt, which caused a relief rally on global markets, as hopes were also raised that a debt deal would be struck in Washington. But Friday's trade in the US was soured by disappointing results from industrial giant Caterpillar, which included a warning that economic growth in developed nations is weaker than expected, and there are signs of a slowdown in China. Elsewhere, some good earnings in the tech sector boosted the Nasdaq. On commodities markets, the gold price ticked up again to close over $1,600 an ounce. And on currency markets, the Aussie dollar gained against the greenback, finishing over $1.08, while the euro slipped. Looking at weekly movements, global share markets staged a healthy recovery, with Europe posting the best gains and Australia not far behind. Now, with news on local stocks, here's Marcus Padley.
Well, the bounce was on this week, courtesy of the European Union and the US, who seem to be sorting out their debt ceiling problems. And all that was of tremendous relief to the financial sector in particular. And the banks had a tremendous week led by the National Bank. But as the risk came out of the market, the gold price peaked a bit, and Newcrest in particular lagged. We saw the RBA minutes this week, and the RBA looked like they're on hold for even longer than we thought, but that all depends on the CPI number, which is coming out next week. On the takeover front, very busy week following the $15 billion bid by BHP for gas shale company Petrohawk Energy last week. We saw another bid in the sector, this time a $924 million bid for coal seam gas player Eastern Star Gas by Santos. And that, of course, brought to life all those mid-cap coal seam gas companies, which had fabulous weeks. We also saw a $1.53 billion bid for Sundance Resources in the iron ore sector. That came from a Chinese conglomerate, and that helped Jindalby Metals put away a $209 million capital raising during the week. We also saw a $2.2 billion bid for Connect East from an Australian-owned infrastructure fund manager. Other stuff in the resources sector was a stream of quarterly production numbers from BHP, Santos, Woodside, Fortescue. Particularly good performances from Western Areas and Oz Minerals on the back of theirs as well. In other news, we saw Ozstar fall after the ACCC blocked their bid from Foxtel. Tabcorp was up after they won the Victorian Gaming and Wagering licence for another 12 years. Woolworths had a fairly solid set of sales numbers despite the fact they've had a challenging year, as they put it. And News Corp survived the English Inquisition and started a bit of a recovery after a recent 20% fall. Winner of the week this week was Eastern Star Gas, up 50% after the bid from Santos. And loser of the week was Ozstar, down 19% after the ACCC blocked the bid from Foxtel, pending further submissions.